Alright, so for chapter 4, the problem that I'm going to show you is from 4.4 with the Anderson Home Electronics example. And right here I've already set up the information. They gave it to you in the book anyway, so you're not really having to solve for a lot of this. They already told you your constraints. What we're going to do is we want to figure out how to use Solver with it. And I thought it wouldn't hurt for us to be able to use Solver as well, to be able to just go over it another time and see how it looks, okay? So once again, what I want to do here is I want to go right here. I'm going to start with an equal sign, and I want to type in sum product. And I'm going to kind of do this in a faster way than I have in the past, but double click on it. There's a sum product. I want the sum product of all of this with a comma and all of this up here. Just a second, my mouse isn't moving very well. Okay, all that right there. And I want these to be absolute, so I'm going to click in between B5 and hit F4 and E5 and hit F4, and then I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm going to reselect that box, and the green box in the bottom right corner, I'm going to left click it and drag it all the way down. Now, with that dragged all the way down, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to click out of there. I don't need this one, so I'm going to just delete that one, and I'm going to delete this one. I don't need either of those two right now. Now what I want to do here is I'm going to start with an equal sign, and I want to subtract this, so that I click on that minus this, and I hit enter. Now that's not absolute, none of those are absolute, so I'm going to click back in here. I'm going to drag the box across all the way through F8 in this case. Alright, so now that gives me the subtraction of these total amounts, which gives me my total profit right here. And this is where I'm going to want my total profit to be. Alright, now, this should now be set up for me to be able to use Solver. So I'm going to click on my Solver. I want this to not be H9. I want it to be right here at F8. So I click an F8. I want it to be my maximum region. And I want to change the variable cells. I want that to be up here. This is where my variables are, right? These are my unknowns that I'm trying to solve for. So that's where those go. And so I need to add in my constraints. My constraints, I'm going to click add. I'm going to use these three columns. They're all the same symbol, so I don't have to worry about greater than, less than being different. These are all less than or equal to symbols. And in the constraint part, it's these values here. And we're going to click OK. Now I have my constraints. Those are my only constraints here. I need to change this to Simplex LP. I need to go into my options. We'll change this, I don't know, 1,000. Go here again. 5,000. 5,000. Sounds good. Looks good. All right, let's click Solve. Now, it has solutions for us, and we'll be taking a look at those in just a minute. However, what we're worried about is we want to be able to have the sensitivity report. So you have to click in the sensitivity report and then click OK, so that we are going to be given our sensitivity report right here. Okay. I'm going to close this window out now. You'll notice here that there are 0 MP3 players and 0 LCD TVs. You would do 380 satellite radios, and you would do 1,060 DVD players. So that's what our results are. Now, there's a few questions the book poses to you, so we want to be able to answer those questions based off of this. The E, that represents infinity. Just like in most math, what we do is on your calculator, when you use your calculator and you get an E in your calculator, usually what that means is it's a scientific notation type of thing. In other words, you move your decimal that many times to a certain direction. In this case, it's kind of the same idea. E just represents you have an extremely huge number or whatever. It's infinity, okay? So down here, this is the information that's going to help us out the most, okay? The first question posed to us is this. Here's what the sensitivity report tells us. How much will our profit change based off of certain things, okay? Certain questions. For example, non-electronic components. The question for that one is, what would happen if you would increase the... Sorry, I'm reading the wrong question. The question for that one
is what is the impact on profit of a change in the supply of non-electronic components? So what's the impact on profit? Well, if we come up here to our sensitivity, the allowable increase is infinity. You can increase infinite amount, and you can decrease up to 560, okay? Now, look here in the shadow price. The shadow price tells us how much our profit will increase per unit sold, okay? In this case, no matter what, up to 560 decreased, we will have zero profit increase, okay? So there's going to be no increase in our profit whatsoever based off that scenario of 560. We can lose 560 pieces and it won't affect our profit whatsoever, okay? Now, the next question asks, what is the impact of profit if we could increase the supply of electronic components to 400 units? Okay, so let's look at this. Electronic components is our top one up here. We can increase up to 2,800 units. And so this falls within the realm of what this report's telling us. If we had 3,000 units that we increased, this report wouldn't be any use to us. We'd have to change all the numbers in the original report up here. And we'd have to change all those numbers. We wouldn't have any choice. But this just gives us a chance to be able to consider all the different possibilities within the ranges given here within the sensitivity report. So we're looking at 400 units. That falls well below the 2,800 allowable. And we see here that there's a $2 increase per unit. So if you take that and you multiply, 400 units times 2, you get $800 additional dollars. And so that would increase our profit by $800. Okay, so not a bad thing. Now, let's just say that, for example, that you increase your electronic components by 4,000 units. Again, like I told you, 4,000 isn't within the allowable increase. Therefore, we won't know what it will do to our income, our profit. Okay, so that's what this sensitivity report's doing for us. It's just showing us what it will do to our profit based off the number of increased or decreased amounts. So this can decrease up to 950 units, and we'll still be okay. All right. Hope this was helpful.